Hi, this is Len.
This is Devin.
And Marcus.
And we just saw Man of Steel.
First impressions right off the bat.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, I definitely love the way they've completely reworked it. No kryptonite in this movie.
That kind of surprised me, yeah.
Definite spoilers in this movie, in this review of the movie.
So probably do not watch this if you have not seen the movie before and plan on seeing it. But, yeah. So, Devin, what kind of points do you have about the movie?
Well, there was a part in the movie where he had just destroyed the ship, and they were in this completely destroyed area, and he was there talking to Lois, and then they had a very intimate moment, and then he flew off and started fighting Zod, and then all of a sudden he was in the super populated area where there were still people. They weren't evacuated or anything, and then some shit happened, and then in comes Lois, like, I just traveled 50-some miles, and I'm here, hey.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing. I mean, it's really hard to tell how much time went by, like when they were gone fighting, because, I mean, there was a lot of flying around, but you have to figure that there wasn't a lot of time that went by because it's Superman fighting Zod,
yeah.
Kryptonian fight, and they were moving hella fast. I don't know.
Maybe helicopter or plane.
Cinema magic.
Maybe just comic books.
Yeah.
I mean, there are like lots of little nitpicks in all the other comic book movies out there as well.
Talk about his dad being a total dick. Like, that's the way it came off. Like, right off the bat, it was just like, no, you should let people die. Don't save them. And then the lady that, saw him save the kids in the bus, it was like, how dare he save my child? I wanted him to die. I just didn't, I don't know. I understand she was scared, like his dad said, but it just didn't make a whole lot of sense.
The dad wasn't really dealt the smoothest way, because you can tell that he did care about his son, but also the way that he was doing the whole destiny thing and cover your powers, it did kind of clash at times.
Nothing. Okay.
Okay, so Devin loves the father. So.
Well, I didn't love him, but I didn't hate him either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's degrees. Like, you understand if as a child he would have come out as an alien, it would have been. I mean, he's already going through the mental struggle of being an alien on a foreign planet, not knowing where he's from or his parents, and that's a lot of weight to throw on a kid, especially like that. But I just don't think it was done properly, I guess, is the best way to put it.
I kind of feel like a lot of these segments didn't really get the time they deserve. Like, I mean, even though this movie is 2.5 hours long, but there is a ton of information that they had to get across, and so I feel like some of the parts were kind of skimmed over for the sake of time.
I agree. I'd like to see if they did an extended version. I'd take a 4-hour movie just to watch the history. More information being told.
I was half expecting a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, the way it was amazing how long it went, but I liked that they kept you going with, especially towards the end, with picking up the action a little bit more, and then. It's just getting you thinking what's going to happen next. How is he going to beat Zod? And so
I've got to be completely honest with you guys. I really was not that much into him and Lois Lane at the end. I didn't really kind of feel the whole lovers thing with them.
Yeah, not a really whole lot of time went by. I mean, it was really fast. I mean, sure, he's a fucking superhero, so I would probably kiss him too.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, in his case, I don't know.
I'd do it. I'd do it if I saw Superman. It would happen.
Okay, well, then they only did have probably 4 or 5 scenes in the movie together, but.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of I don't know if it's because she was a journalist or, the reporter that she was, or what, but it seemed like he understood that she seemed to understand his story and everything better. I think when a lot of it happened when she retracted her story or stopped following it partway in when she's trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah.
She understands that, he explains the whole father situation, his father dying, not wanting him to come out to the world, coming out party closet. But
Yeah. All right.
but I don't know. I kind of understand it a little bit, but I think it did seem rushed, and it feels like there should have been more behind the scenes of their relationship, and there just wasn't enough time for it in the movie.
Yeah, like not only that, but like also, like again, I would have liked to see a lot more scenes with like Superman growing up and his father. I feel like not his biological father, but his adopted father.
Yeah, I understand, but I think if the way they wanted to portray his father was portrayed right, and I think if they would have delved too much into his adopted father's situation, I think it would have been too much back and forth, like, well, you should do this, but you shouldn't do this, kind of thing. And I think that it, with the flashbacks, it was more or less like him just pulling on his heartstrings kind of thing on deciding on what to do. And so I like the way they did the adopted father, but there's a lot that should have been there.
Yeah. It's really hard to grasp the depth of Superman's origin. I mean, there's just too much to fit into a movie unless you want to have an origin movie. But
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
Huh. Like another. Actually, I did like the way most of the actors were portrayed in this movie. I do like most of the actors in this movie.
Yeah, I really liked... I know a lot of people have been saying that they don't like the person that they picked to play Superman, but I think he played it very well.
He did. Like, when I pictured Superman, that is pretty much who I see, honestly.
Yeah, I can't stand the previous Superman.
Oh.
That just... inflatable muscle guy.
Just kind of flabby and stuff.
Yeah, it was
Like-
kind of disappointing.
Like the pinnacle of that movie was when the bullet hit his eyeball. And it was like, oh, but this one, like, it just got more and more and more and more. It just got... it was amazing.
I really liked how they started in on his powers, that he knew he was strong, but his father didn't even realize how much strength and how powerful he would become by coming to Earth. The atmosphere and everything, all the conditions seemed just perfect for him to become godlike.
Yeah.
And I really liked that they didn't give him like the ability just to fly right away. You saw that he had struggles with that, and it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Taking out a mountain. But
Yeah.
I really liked it when he just realized that the sun is the source of his power. And they showed it a couple times when he first learned how to actually fly, and then right at the end after he's destroyed the machine, the world engine, and he's reaching up to the sun for help, basically.
I do love that one scene where, like, after he fails to fly, he looks up at the sun and just for a couple seconds and closes his eyes. That's a pretty powerful scene for me.
Exactly, yeah. There was a lot going on, and there was so much to take in. I definitely think I want to watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
There was very little moments where my body wasn't tensed up, just like, oh my god, what's going to happen next?
I love the way they showed the rage when he used his heat vision, though. Like, you could see his eyes, like, boiling and stuff like that. It was just the heat coming through his eyes and stuff like that, especially when him and Zod were fighting. That was just amazing.
The way that Zod first used the eyes and, like, the heat vision, it's just, he had no idea what was going on, and it's just, like, pulled power out of his eyes, and he's looking around, and that's really, really cool.
Very intense the way they showed it, and I loved the emotion they were giving behind the ability to use it.
Oh yeah, that was. And in general, like, I really did like the action scenes as well. They did feel really epic, and they are like flying around, like plowing through buildings and mountains.
Yeah, that was one thing I really liked, is they portray Superman in the comics like he doesn't want to harm a lot.
Yeah.
But at this point, it was just, I have to save the human race. They are here to destroy this place,
Yeah.
And he just put it all out there on the line. I mean, he doesn't really get the grasp of a lot of his powers. We didn't see him use his cold breath or his X-ray vision a whole lot. We saw it when he was first getting his powers, but he couldn't really control it. But the heat vision and the ability to fly and just his speed was incredible.
Yeah. One thing I honestly didn't really like as much was when he first finds the ship, that's like hidden in the ice area, and he sees like his father's hologram, or I'm guessing that's a hologram.
Yeah, it was like, from what I understood, it was like a computer programmed base of his father. It didn't have his father's emotions and stuff like that, but it was his father's base understanding. Yeah.
That's what they said it was.
Yeah, I kind of feel like when his father started like explaining everything to him, I kind of feel they could have gotten that information to the person like a different way, maybe. Like maybe if you'd shown more like of Krypton and how, like on the actual Krypton.
It was very basic. I mean, it
It
didn't really
was.
explain a whole lot. It's like you're a Kryptonian, you're my son.
Just
Blah.
Zod is evil and our planet got destroyed eventually.
The end.
Yeah, I think it was really hard for his father to come across with a lot of information because, like, when he comes up and he tells him, "I didn't realize how strong you were gonna get." You know, I don't think there was a lot of information he had about Earth and the surroundings. So, I mean, yes, they could have delved more into the Krypton history and stuff like that, but I don't think it was exactly necessary at this point in time. I think through the comics, Supergirl is introduced and stuff like that, and she was born on Krypton and stuff like that. She's got more of an understanding of it.
Yeah.
And so I think that if we see more history coming from the movies themselves, I think that'll be a really good way to introduce it, because she had a lot of information that Kal-El had no idea about in the comics. So
That's what this movie did help me understand a lot about Superman, though. Like, for example, I had no idea that the Kryptonians were basically like ordinary people on their own planet.
yeah.
I had no idea. I thought they were like super like everywhere they went, and instead it's just their bodies adjust to different planets differently, I guess.
It depends on the sun.
Yeah,
Depends on the sun.
because I believe they had a red sun that they were orbiting around.
Yeah, the red sun is the weakest. The blue, I think it was the blue sun.
Yeah, blue
The
sun.
blue sun is a ridiculous amount of power. It's like going from, if Superman was considered to be human, that jump from human to Superman would be the jump from yellow sun to blue sun.
Okay.
But I'm kind of surprised if they were exploring like the galaxies, the universe and stuff for different planets, and it's hard to imagine they didn't come across a yellow sun and be like, oh wow, we're stronger. Because I mean, the short amount of time that Zod was there, he gained powers like in a matter of days.
Yeah, I think the problem is they were so masked, and I think that was shown in the way they had Zod in the mask, and he had no idea. It seemed like the mask, the armor that he was wearing, wasn't allowing for the sun to do any help up until he had removed it. That's when he started feeling the full effects of like everything he could do. I mean, we didn't see him use heat vision up until that point, and it seemed like he had no idea what it was. I think they might have been coming across these suns,
Just never took off their mask.
exactly, because of a health hazard, basically, like we saw when he started to become acclimated to their atmosphere. There we go.
That's like one other thing. They show a scene of Superman when he's like, of Clark Kent when he's 8 years old, and he's he's around 8, and he's experiencing the whole like seeing through the skin and clothing of everybody around him.
The X-ray.
And like the first time he experiences heat vision, and I'm like, shouldn't he have experienced all that when he was a baby? Like technically.
Yeah and no. I don't know. It's hard to tell because we don't know a whole lot of the Kryptonian backstory, and so we don't know when their powers are taken into effect, and we don't know how they react in a yellow sun situation either.
Yeah.
So
They're completely different alien species. They could go through puberty at a completely different time, and
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it would be a puberty kind of thing, and his powers would kick in during puberty, but that very well could have been exactly what, him being 8 years old. That's puberty for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd like to see him as a baby and fighting with his powers. It'd remind me of the Incredibles. Jack changing and stuff like that. That'd be hilarious. But at the same time, they were trying to keep it on the more serious feel, and I think they did a great job
Oh,
at
yeah.
the storytelling this time around.
Something I didn't know, like, I remember before this movie came out, they were talking about how Christopher Nolan was saying this is not going to be another, like, big trilogy like Batman was. This is going to be, for the most part, it's going to be a standalone film, right?
No, I don't think it was
Or-
necessarily a standalone film. He was trying to come out and say this isn't going to be as dark or anything as Batman. I think they
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to keep it more realistic, which they did, but at the same time, it's Superman. You can't be like, oh, well, he got his powers from this ability, this injection. It's Superman, you know. Everybody knows Superman's just amazing. He's like a god.
Yeah.
Later in the comics, he does become basically a god. So I think that they tried to make it realistic, but at the same time, the mythos behind Superman was all there.
Yeah.
And I think he did come out and say that he controlled very little of the movie. This was Zack Snyder's film, and I think that was felt with the way it wasn't as dark as as Batman was, and I think it was a proper film for a Superman film.
It was, yeah. Like, at the end, it ends it pretty nicely. Like, it just has him getting his job at the Daily Planet. From what I wanted to say Daily Bugle, but...
Yeah, Spider-Man ran in.
Yeah, seeping in. But, no, they ended rather nicely. There's no direct reference to a possible sequel or anything, but no doubt there probably will be one.
I think there was a little bit of a sequel. I mean, like, Amazing Spider-Man. They didn't come out right and show you exactly who he was fighting next, but they did have a couple scenes where you saw LexCorp stuff, and I did like that. I saw that, you know, there's a gasoline truck that gets kicked over by him, LexCorp written all over it. I really enjoyed seeing that. Hey, potentially this is who's coming up next. I wouldn't want to see him right away because, I mean, he's been beaten into the ground.
Yeah.
Kryptonite, you know. But I think it would be nice to see some of his other villains. You know, it'd be insane to end the movies with Doomsday coming in and killing Superman.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best way to end a trilogy.
Oh, okay. I can see that, yeah. But because I would like to see, like, Lex Luthor eventually, but I would like to have, like, a full movie of him just being, like, a best friend, or maybe just him being there, you know, just a character. Just enough so the audience sees, like, oh, hey, this isn't just, like, a Superman's villain, he is a, you know, fully fledged character in his own right.
Yeah, there's too many different alternate universes of Superman that people have played with in different comic books and stuff. And I mean, in this one, I mean, Lois already knew that Clark was Superman, but in like most of the comic books and cartoons and stuff, they had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they just jumped right in, and she knew from the get-go. So it's like, which it could be anyone.
Yeah.
I guess if you look back at it, that is kind of something that they did with, like, the Batman movie. You know, they're like, hey, the love interest knows right off the bat. And, I mean, it's okay, I guess, but it totally throws viewers out of their element because they're not expecting, you know, anybody to know the secret identity, especially during the first film. It's just... I guess it's a Batman throwback and a Spider-Man throwback. Spider-Man started that with, like, Mary Jane finding out right away.
Yeah.
That kind of was irritating the first time around. I guess I've become more acclimated to them doing it, but...
Well, wait, no, in Spider-Man, didn't Mary Jane learn in like, the second film, actually?
No, she found out at the end of the first one.
At the end of... Oh, no. Oh, okay. Because I thought that at the second one, like, when he was fighting Doc Ock, like, towards the end, he takes off his mask and he rescues her from that falling wall or something. I thought that was when she first... Maybe not. I could be wrong.
I don't know. It's been a long time. I really don't like the way they did the love interest in those movies because it seemed like all three movies were focused on him being in love with Mary Jane opposed to his confliction with, like, protecting everybody, like Aunt May and stuff like that. But that's different.
Yeah,
we can do it
off topic.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about them not incorporating any of the other superheroes?
I was just about to ask that. I mean, where were they? I mean, I can kind of see, like, maybe Batman, like, having some type of contingency plan, because, I mean, there's no way he wouldn't know. I mean, he probably saw Superman there from the very beginning and just watched. But, I mean, even so, it's like they threatened the entire planet. Not a single other DC superhero does anything about it. I mean, even if they were testing him, I mean, you would at least see something.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I mean, Green Lantern could have been off-planet. Batman could have been dealing with... it could have been during the timeline where Batman was, broken
stuff
in half. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but I would have at least liked to see a little bit, or even a hint, considering they're talking Justice League movie next year, of them somehow doing it. I really like the way Marvel did the work up to the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't see Justice League being a proper movie without leading some tie-ins and some multi-universe things. It's really hard because Christopher Nolan himself said he was completely against introducing anybody into the timeline of Batman. He's not doing Batman anymore. We don't know who Batman is. There's a lot of things going on around Batman's part of the universe right now that's not settled.
Yeah.
But if they're doing a Justice League movie next year, we kind of need some more information going into it, and I just don't see hype coming up with Justice League. I mean, I'll go watch it because I'm a comic book fan, but as far as proper hyping up the movie, I just don't see it.
There's nothing at the end. I mean, it's all to you people listening. Don't stay for the credits. I mean, there's nothing there, which is very disappointing. Like Marcus is saying, it's like there was nothing there. So I mean, how would they? Unless they're going to somehow fit a random movie in there somewhere, there's no Justice League.
I can completely understand why they did it though, because I think to audiences it would have been cool to a lot of people, but to some it probably would have been confusing to see these other superheroes like kind of popping up out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, that's what they did with Iron Man. I mean, different universe, but I mean, still, I mean.
But you knew these people from these other movies, because we hadn't really had. I'm not sure if people would have accepted a Green Lantern, since the last Green Lantern movie didn't really go over too well.
From the sounds of it, Ryan Reynolds will be reprising his role as Green Lantern in the Justice League movie, so I don't see why there wouldn't be any tie-in with that. Like I said, I kind of understand from the Batman aspect, but that's about the only aspect I understand, because they've already called on the actor to play the Flash, they've already called on the actress to play Wonder Woman. I mean, we have definite people that are going to be playing these roles next year.
Yeah.
Why can't they introduce them prior to the movie?
I don't know. I kind of like what they're going for with this movie, just having it being one big epic focused entirely on Superman, because he is a big enough character for it.
I agree. I think the biggest problem is they want to push a Justice League movie out so fast. I think if they want to do it proper, it should be pushed back. I don't think it should be released next year.
It's really too fast. There was another movie, I can't remember what it was, but they pushed it really fast and it didn't turn out good at all. I can't.
The Matrix movies, the last two movies.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It felt way too rushed. I'm kind of worried. See, they're doing the next Avatar movies the exact same way. 2 and 3 are being recorded at the exact same time and being released 1 year separate, just like the Matrix movies were. I just hope... I mean, I can understand why studios want to do it, because then that cuts out a lot of time that they have to do for getting everybody back together and everything like that. But I think they really have to be careful with fine-tuning those movies to make sure they're done properly.
Absolutely. I had no idea about about Ryan Reynolds being back and about all these other actors being in there. Yeah. I mostly just feel like kind of Zack Snyder kind of wanted to make his own movie, I guess, maybe. Maybe he wanted to just do his own spin and not worry about the whole Justice League thing.
Yeah, like I said, until more information's released about the Justice League and exactly who's going to be in it, it's up in the air.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see come next year.
But yeah, that was a bunch of talking about Superman. What's the next comic book movie coming out?
Next comic book movie, I believe, is Wolverine next month.
Okay, and after that, is it Thor after that, or is it Thor right around that?
Thor, I believe, is in September.
Oh, okay, far off.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your next big movie you're looking forward to?
I would have to say World War Z, actually.
World War Z did look very good.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for World War Z, but I really love the way Pacific Rim is looking.
That is really cool.
It feels like it's a completely new movie to the genre. There's been so much zombie stuff going on, Walking Dead, all the extra movies. We've got R.I.P.D., which is kind of like a zombie-ish movie. I mean, they're undead, but they're not undead, I guess.
Yeah, there really isn't a whole lot of genres of gigantuous robots unless you want to venture into the old awesomeness of Gundam.
Yeah,
well,
Gundam, Godzilla.
And that's like the
most Godzilla movies.
And that's what's fascinating to me too, because we have the technology now to do like amazing special effects with giant monsters. Why don't we do more movies with giant monsters?
Well, we can thank Guillermo del Toro for today.
Where's Godzilla 2?
There's been talk. There's still talk about it coming out.
Really?
I'm still upset from this day because ever since the little baby Godzilla came out of the egg, it was like it's great, and I was like, come on, Godzilla 2.
And it's been what,
nothing.
10 years
It's
now.
been forever. Yeah.
So, okay. Final score. If you give it a star rank out of 5 for Superman today.
I would say 4 out of 5.
4.5, but that 0.5 just might be because I'm a total Superman nerd.
Yeah.
I still give it a 4.5, just due to the facts that it held me in the movie. There was a firm grasp on me wanting to see what was coming.
Yeah, there was very little rest for non-interesting things. I mean, there was a few very tiny, minuscule things, but everything else was just like awe-inspiring.
The very end where he snaps Zod's neck, the power he puts into it to kill him. I mean, you see the shockwaves snap from his arms when he...
It's a very dramatic thing, because Superman does not kill people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not his thing, let alone hurt them.
I loved how that primal scream, that yell he lets out after he's killed Zod, like... finished. I'm done. You know.
Absolutely. And then when Lois Lane comes up, and all you can do is just kind of manage like a tiny little hug, just some comfort.
It's okay.
It's okay, crazy Kryptonian that can snap my neck in an instant.
All right. Well, that was Len, Devin, and Marcus giving you guys a recap of what we thought of the Superman movie.
All right.